The most fascinating thing about confidence is that you don't have to wait to feel it before you show it. That's right. Most folks get it all backward. They're waiting for this magical moment when confidence will finally arrive like some special delivery package. But here's what I've learned after all these years. Confidence isn't something you have first and then act on later. It's something you act on first and then you have it. You see, I've met thousands of successful people in my time, traveled all over this world, and you know what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't? It's not talent, it's not education, it's not even luck. It's their willingness to act confident long before they feel confident. That's the secret most people miss. Now, I'm not talking about being phony or putting on some kind of show. I'm talking about understanding a fundamental truth about human psychology. Our actions lead our feelings, not the other way around. You want to know the fastest way to become confident? Start acting like it today, right now. Don't wait for permission. Most people are waiting for that perfect moment when they'll finally feel ready. But let me tell you something important. That moment never comes on its own. You bring it into existence through your actions, through your choices, through your discipline. I remember when I first started giving talks. Do you think I felt confident? Absolutely not. My knees were knocking. My hands were shaking. I had all these thoughts running through my head about what might go wrong. But I got up and did it anyway. And you know what? It wasn't the feeling of confidence that got me through that first speech. It was the action of confidence, the willingness to step forward despite the fear. And that's what I want to share with you today. How to act with confidence even when you don't feel it yet. Because that's the bridge. That's the path. That's the doorway to becoming the person you're capable of becoming. Look around you. The most successful people you know weren't born with some special confidence gene. They weren't given some magical confidence potion. They simply started acting confident before they felt confident. And over time, their actions created their feelings, not the other way around. I want to let you in on a little secret. Those people you admire, the ones who seem so naturally confident, they're faking it too. Or at least they were at first. Everyone starts somewhere. Everyone has that first awkward moment when they have to act with confidence they don't yet possess. You see it in business all the time. The new entrepreneur who has to act like their company is established before it actually is. The salesperson who has to display certainty about a product they're still learning about. The leader who has to show confidence in a decision while privately wrestling with doubts. This isn't dishonesty. It's the necessary bridge between who you are now and who you're becoming. It's the scaffolding that holds up the building until the building can stand on its own. I meet so many talented people who are stuck. And do you know why they're stuck? Because they're waiting to feel confident before they act confident. They've got it backward. They say, once I feel ready, then I'll start that business. Once I feel confident, then I'll ask for that promotion. Once I feel certain, then I'll make that investment. But life doesn't work that way. Life rewards action first, then delivers the feelings later. Think about it like this. When you first learned to drive a car, did you feel confident? Of course not. You were probably terrified. White knuckles on the steering wheel, eyes wide, breath shallow. But you acted like a driver anyway. You turned the key. You put your foot on the gas. You steered. And over time, what happened? The confidence showed up, but not before you took action. The same principle applies to everything worthwhile in life. The confidence comes after you start acting, not before. You know, I've watched so many talented people wait their entire lives for confidence to arrive. And while they're waiting, life passes them by. Opportunities pass them by. Growth passes them by. Don't let that be your story. The relationship between confidence and action is like a circle. Action builds confidence, and confidence inspires more action. But the circle has to start somewhere, and it always starts with action. Some of you might be thinking, that sounds great, but how exactly do I act confident when I don't feel confident? That's a fair question, and I'm going to give you some specific strategies. But first, let's understand something fundamental about human psychology. Your mind takes cues from your body. when you act confident physically, when you stand tall, speak clearly, move deliberately, your mind starts to believe it. Your brain thinks, well, I'm acting confident, so I must be confident. It's a beautiful hack of human psychology. Your mind follows your movements. The same goes for decisions. When you make decisions promptly and clearly, even small ones, your mind starts to see you as someone who is decisive. Your mind follows your actions. And here's the amazing thing. Others see it too. They don't know how you feel inside. They only see how you act on the outside. So when you act confident, they treat you as confident. And those reactions further reinforce your own confidence. So the cycle goes, act confident and your mind starts to believe it. Act confident and others respond to you as if you're confident. Those responses further convince your mind. And before long, you're not acting anymore. You've become what you were pretending to be. It's like planting a seed. At first, there's nothing to see, just soil. But under the surface, things are happening, roots are forming, and with enough time and the right conditions, what emerges isn't a seed pretending to be a tree. It's an actual tree. Your confidence works the same way. The acting part is just the seed. What grows is real. Now, let's talk specifics. How do you start acting confident today? What are the small, daily habits that build the skill of displaying confidence before you feel it? First, watch your posture. Stand up straight, pull your shoulders back, lift your chin. Take up space. Don't try to make yourself small. These aren't just physical adjustments. They're psychological signals to yourself and others. Second, make eye contact. Look people in the eye when you speak to them. Don't stare. That's different. But maintain comfortable, steady eye contact. It signals that you believe in what you're saying. Third, speak more slowly. Confident people don't rush their words. They don't feel the need to fill every silence. They speak at a measured pace with appropriate pauses. Try it. Slow down your speech by just 10. You'll be amazed at how much more weight your words carry. Fourth, eliminate qualifier phrases. Stop saying things like this might be a stupid question, or I'm not sure if this is right, or you probably already thought of this, but just state your question or idea directly. The qualification weakens your message before it even leaves your mouth. Fifth, practice decisive small choices. Don't even hover the little decisions of life. What to order at a restaurant, which movie to watch, which route to take. Make these small choices promptly and without excessive deliberation. It builds the decision-making muscle. Sixth, volunteer to go first, whether it's giving a presentation, trying a new activity, or sharing an idea in a meeting. Volunteer to go first. Going first is a confident move. It says, I'm ready. I don't need to see how others do it first. Seventh, dress slightly better than required. I'm not saying you need expensive clothes, but wearing attire that's a notch above what's expected for the situation signals confidence. It says you take yourself seriously. Eighth, prepare thoroughly. Confidence isn't about winging it. True confidence comes from knowing you've done the work. Before that meeting, before that presentation, before that difficult conversation, know your material. Anticipate questions. Practice your response. Ninth, admit when you don't know something. This might seem counterintuitive, but confident people don't pretend to know everything. They're comfortable saying, I don't know, but I'll find out. Insecure people fake knowledge. Confident people admit the limits of their knowledge. 10th, set slightly uncomfortable goals. If you're only doing what you already know you can achieve, you're not building confidence. You're maintaining the status. Confidence grows when you stretch just beyond your current abilities. Not so far that you're likely to fail catastrophically, but far enough that success isn't guaranteed. These are daily practices, small habits. They might seem insignificant on their own, but together, practiced consistently, they create a new way of moving through the world, a confident way. And here's the beautiful thing. You don't have to do them all at once. Start with one, master it, then add another. Before long, you'll have created a new baseline for how you show up in the world. Now, let's talk about the language of confidence. Words matter. The way you speak, not just to others, but to yourself, shapes your reality. Confident language is direct. It's clear. It doesn't hedge or qualify unnecessarily. Compare these two statements. I think maybe we should consider possibly trying a new approach versus I believe we should try a new approach. The second one has power. It has clarity. It has confidence. Confident language takes ownership. It uses I statements appropriately. I made a mistake rather than mistakes were made. I choose to rather than I have to. I will rather than I'll try. Confident language avoids unnecessary apologies. Now, I'm not saying don't apologize when you've done something wrong. Absolutely apologize then. But don't apologize for existing. Don't apologize for having don't apologize before asking a question. Confident language is also economical. It doesn't use 10 words when 5 will do. It doesn't fill space with nervous chatter. It makes its point, then stops. And perhaps most importantly, confident language assumes agreement. Rather than would you maybe consider possibly meeting with me, it's when would be a good time for us to meet, rather than do you think we could potentially move forward with this. So what's our next step to move this forward? Now, changing your language patterns takes awareness and practice. Start by listening to yourself. Record a conversation or a presentation you give with permission, of course. Listen to how many times you use qualifier words like just maybe, sort of, kind of. Listen for how often you apologize unnecessarily. Listen for how often you use passive rather than active constructions. Once you're aware, you can begin to change, one pattern at a time. And as your language changes, something interesting happens. Your thinking changes too, because language and thought are intimately connected. We think in words. So when your words become more confident, your thoughts follow suit. Beyond words, let's talk about physical presence. Your body communicates confidence or lack thereof before you ever open your mouth. Watch how confident people move. They move deliberately, not rushed, not frantic. Their movements have purpose. They don't fidget excessively. They don't constantly touch their face or hair. They don't jiggle their legs nervously. Their posture says, I belong here. Shoulders back, head up. They take up the appropriate amount of space, not shrinking, not expanding too much. In conversations, they turn their whole body toward the person they're speaking with, not just their head. It shows they're fully engaged, not looking for the next more important person to talk to. These physical habits matter because, as I mentioned earlier, your body and mind are in a constant feedback loop. Your mind affects your body, yes, but just as powerfully, your body affects your mind. So even if your mind is filled with doubt, when you adjust your body to a confident posture, your mind starts to fall in line. It's a powerful tool you can use right now. Today, regardless of how you feel inside, try this simple experiment. Stand up right now. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chin slightly. Put your hands on your hips or by your sides, not crossed in front of you. Take a deep breath. Hold this posture for just 2 minutes. Notice how differently you feel. This isn't magic, it's physiology. Your posture affects your hormone levels, which affect how you feel, which affects how you think, which affects how you act. So use this tool. Before your next important meeting, presentation, or difficult conversation, take 2 minutes in private to strike a confident pose. It will change how you show up. Now, I want to address something important. Acting confident doesn't mean you never prepare. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Some of the most confident appearing people I know are also the most prepared. There's a myth that confident people just wing it, that they're naturally gifted and don't need to prepare. Nothing could be further from the truth. The most confident speakers, salespeople, negotiators, and leaders I know are meticulous about preparation. They research, they practice, they anticipate questions and objections, they run through scenarios. They have plan B and plan C ready if plan A falls through. This preparation gives them the foundation to appear relaxed and confident. It's like the duck that appears to glide effortlessly across the pond while beneath the surface, its feet are paddling furiously. So if you want to act confidently, prepare thoroughly. Know your material cold. Research the people you'll be meeting with. Anticipate the questions you'll be asked. Have your supporting evidence ready. This doesn't mean you script everything word for word. That often comes across as stiff and unnatural. But it does mean you know your material so well that you can present it conversationally, adapting as needed. And here's another secret. Preparation reduces anxiety. A significant portion of pre-performance anxiety comes from uncertainty. What if they ask me something I can't answer? What if I forget what I was going to say? What if my technology fails? When you've prepared for these contingencies, the anxiety diminishes. Not completely. Some butterflies are normal and even helpful, but to a manageable level. So if you want to act confidently, don't just focus on the acting part. Focus on the preparation that makes confident action possible. Of course, no matter how well you prepare, no matter how confidently you act, you will face setbacks. Everyone does. The question isn't whether you'll experience failure, rejection, or criticism. The question is how you'll respond when you do. This is where the rubber meets the road with confidence. Anyone can act confident when things are going well. The real test is whether you can maintain that confident bearing when faced with opposition. First, understand that setbacks are not failures unless you decide to stop. They're feedback, they're data, they're part of the process of any worthwhile endeavor. Second, maintain your physical confidence, even in the face of setbacks. This is crucial. When things go wrong, most people physically collapse. Their shoulders slump, their facial expression falls, their voice gets quiet, their eyes look down. Don't do this. Maintain your confident posture, eye contact, and voice projection even as you acknowledge the setback. Third, use confident language, even when discussing problems. Instead of "this is a disaster," try "this is a significant challenge we need to address." Instead of "I failed," try "I learned what doesn't work." Instead of "I don't know what to do," try "I'm evaluating our options." Fourth, take responsibility without taking things personally. Confident people say, "I made a mistake," not "I am a mistake." They say, "That approach didn't work," not "I'm a failure." They own the action without letting it define their identity. Fifth, focus immediately on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Given this setback, what's our next move? This forward orientation is a hallmark of confidence. And sixth, remember that your response to setbacks is being watched. Your team, your family, your colleagues, they're taking their cues from you. When you respond to challenges with calm, solution-focused confidence, even if you have to fake it at first, you set the tone for everyone around you. I've seen leaders turn around seemingly catastrophic situations simply by maintaining a confident demeanor while acknowledging reality and focusing on solutions. It's a skill you can develop with practice. The beautiful thing about acting confident is that over time, it creates real confidence through what I call the compound effect. Just like compound interest in finance. Small daily actions of confidence build on each other to create remarkable results over time. Day by day, you might not notice much change. But month by month, year by year, these small acts of confidence transform not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. I've watched this transformation in countless individuals over the years. People who started out painfully shy, who would rather die than speak in public, who would never assert themselves in a meeting. Through consistent practice of acting confident before they felt confident, they became genuinely confident. The change happens at the identity level. At first, you're a shy person acting confident. Then one day, you realize you're no longer acting. Somewhere along the way, you became a confident person. It's like learning any skill. At first, it feels mechanical, unnatural. You have to think about every move. But with practice, it becomes second nature. You don't think about it anymore. It's just who you are. The compound effect works because each small act of confidence creates a small success. Those small successes build evidence that contradicts your old, unconfident self-image. At first, your mind rejects this evidence because it doesn't fit your existing self-concept. But as the evidence piles up, day after day, your mind is forced to reconsider. Maybe I am confident after all, it begins to think. And eventually, of course, I'm confident. Look at all this evidence. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. A few big, bold moves won't change your identity, but hundreds of small, consistent, confident actions over time absolutely will. So don't be discouraged if you don't feel transformed overnight. Trust the process. Trust the compound effect. Small actions consistently taken lead to massive changes over time. Now, let's talk specifically about handling rejection, because if you're going to put yourself out there, if you're going to ask for the sale, apply for the promotion, share your ideas, make the proposal, you will face rejection. It's inevitable. The difference between confident people and unconfident people isn't that confident people never get rejected. It's that they handle rejection differently. First, confident people don't take rejection personally. They understand that most rejection isn't about them as a person. It's about fit, timing, priorities, budgets, and 100 other factors beyond their control. Second, confident people view rejection as information, not condemnation. Okay, that approach didn't work with this person at this time. What can I learn from that? Third, confident people don't let rejection stop their forward momentum. They acknowledge it, learn from it, and keep moving. They don't go home and hide under the covers. They make the next call. They submit the next application. They share the next idea. Full confident people look for the pattern in rejections. One rejection might be bad luck. 5 similar rejections suggest there's something to learn. They look for the common thread and adjust accordingly. Fifth, confident people balance rejection with affirmation. They don't just focus on who said no. They remind themselves of who said yes. They don't just count their failures. They celebrate their successes. And 6, confident people use rejection as motivation. Instead of letting it deflate them, they let it fuel them. I'll show them what they missed out on. I've known salespeople who actually celebrate rejections because they know each no brings them one step closer to a yes. They've learned that success is often a numbers game and rejection is simply part of the process. So if you want to act confidently, change your relationship with rejection. See it as normal, not catastrophic. See it as information, not judgment. See it as a step in the process, not the end of the road. Another crucial aspect of acting confidently is surrounding yourself with the right people. Your environment shapes you far more than most people realize. If you spend your time with chronically negative, unconfident people, their mindset will rub off on you. Their doubts will become your doubts. Their fears will become your fears. Their limits will become your limits. But if you surround yourself with confident, positive, growth-minded people, their attitudes will influence you too. Their belief will strengthen your belief. Their courage will inspire your courage. Their standards will raise your standards. This doesn't mean you abandon friends or family who are struggling, but it does mean you consciously seek out and spend time with people who embody the confidence you want to develop. And a mentor who displays the kind of quiet, earned confidence you admire. Join mastermind groups or professional organizations where you can connect with confident peers. Read biographies of confident leaders. Listen to talks by confident speakers. And when possible, put yourself in situations where you're not the most confident person in the room. Being around people who are further along the path than you are helps you see what's possible. It stretches your vision of what confidence looks like in action. At the same time, be careful about comparing your insides to others' outsides. Remember, many of those confident people you admire started exactly where you are, acting confident before they felt confident. They had the same doubts, the same fears, the same imposter syndrome. The difference is they acted anyway. Your environment also includes your physical space. Is your workspace organized in a way that helps you feel in control and capable? Is your home a place that renews your energy or drains it? Is your car a mess that makes you feel scattered or organized in a way that helps you feel composed? These environmental factors might seem small, but they send constant messages to your subconscious mind about who you are and what you're capable of. So arrange your environment to support your confident self. Now let's talk about your mindset, the internal conversation that's constantly running in your head. Because you can act confident on the outside, but if your inside thoughts are undermining you, you're fighting an uphill battle. The good news is that your thought patterns are habits, and like any habit, they can be changed with awareness and practice. Start by simply noticing your thoughts. Most people never stop to observe the constant stream of commentary running through their minds, but once you start paying attention, you might be shocked by how negative and unconfident that commentary often is. I can't do this. They're gonna laugh at me. Who am I to think? I could succeed at this. I always mess things up. I'm not smart enough. I'm not experienced enough. They're going to find out I'm a fraud. Sound familiar? These thoughts are normal. Everyone has them. The difference is that confident people have learned to recognize these thoughts for what they are. Just thoughts, not facts. Once you've developed the awareness to catch these thoughts, you can begin to challenge them. Is it really true that I can't do this? Haven't I done difficult things before? Is it really true that I always mess things up? What about the times I've succeeded? Is it really true that I'm not smart enough? Or is it just that I haven't learned this particular skill yet? This questioning process weakens the power of negative thoughts. It creates space between you and the thought, so you can see it as just one perspective, not absolute truth. The next step is to replace these unconfident thoughts with more confident alternatives. Not delusional positive thinking, but realistic, affirming thoughts. I can learn to do this. I've overcome challenges before, and I can overcome this one too. I have value to contribute here. I'm prepared for this. I can handle whatever happens. This thought reformation takes time. You've likely had your current thought patterns for years or decades. They won't change overnight. But with consistent practice, you can create new neural pathways, new default thoughts that support rather than undermine your confidence. Combined with your confident actions, these confident thoughts create a powerful upward spiral. Your thoughts support your actions, and your actions reinforce your thoughts. As you progress on this confidence journey, don't forget to celebrate your wins along the way. Many people are so focused on where they're trying to go that they never acknowledge how far they've already come. Remember that first phone call you were terrified to make? You made it? That presentation you thought you'd stumble through, you delivered it. That difficult conversation you wanted to avoid, you had it. Each of these actions represents growth. Each one is evidence that you're developing real confidence, not just acting confident. So take time to acknowledge these victories. No matter how small they might seem, write them down. Reflect on them when you're facing new challenges. Use them as evidence to counter your inner critic. Confidence builds on itself. Each small success creates the foundation for the next bigger success. But this only happens when you take time to recognize and internalize your progress. Many people move through life collecting successes but never really owning them. They attribute their victories to luck, timing, or other people's efforts. Don't do this. When you succeed, own it. Not in an arrogant way, but in a straightforward acknowledgement of your role in making it happen. I worked hard for that result. I prepared thoroughly for that presentation. I persisted. This isn't about inflating your ego. It's about accurately assessing your capabilities based on evidence, not on outdated stories about who you are and what you can do. At the same time, when you make mistakes, and you will, own those too. I could have prepared more thoroughly. I let my emotions get the best of me. I overlooked an important factor. This balanced self-assessment is a hallmark of genuine confidence. Secure people can acknowledge both their strengths and their areas for growth without their self-worth hanging in the balance. Let's talk about confidence specifically in your business or career, because this is where many people struggle the most. Professional settings often trigger our deepest insecurities about our competence, our worthiness, our place at the table. First, recognize that everyone feels like an imposter sometimes. Everyone wonders if they're good enough, smart enough, experienced enough. That CEO you admire. They felt it. That successful entrepreneur. They felt it. That polished presenter. They felt it. The difference is that they act confident anyway. They step into rooms they don't feel qualified to be in. They raise their hand for opportunities they don't feel ready for. They speak up when their inner voice is telling them to stay quiet. In your career, confidence often looks like appropriate risk-taking. It's applying for the position that feels just beyond your current capabilities. It's volunteering for the project that will stretch your skills. Sharing the idea even when you're not 100 sure it's brilliant. It's also about setting appropriate boundaries. Confident professionals don't say yes to every request. They don't work themselves to exhaustion to prove their worth. They don't tolerate disrespect or abuse. They know their value and expect others to recognize it too. In business, confidence often manifests as decisiveness, not recklessness. Confident business people still gather data, seek input, and consider consequences. But they don't get paralyzed by analysis. They make the call, even with imperfect information, because they know that in business, a good decision today is often better than a perfect decision next month. Confidence in business also means being willing to say, I don't know, but I'll find out. It means being secure enough to ask questions when others are nodding as if they understand. It means admitting when you're wrong and correcting course without excessive self-flagellation. And perhaps most importantly, confidence in your professional life means persisting through the inevitable failures and setbacks. The confident professional doesn't quit at the first rejection, the first failure, the first criticism. They learn, adjust, and continue moving forward. I've watched countless careers transform through the consistent practice of acting confident. New employees who become indispensable team members. Middle managers who rise to executive leadership. Struggling entrepreneurs who build thriving businesses. In each case, they started acting confident before they fully felt confident. And over time, the act became reality. As we wrap up our time together, I want to emphasize that the journey to confidence is just that, a journey. It's not a destination you reach once and are done. It's an ongoing practice, a daily choice to act with confidence even when you don't feel it fully. There will be days when it's easier, days when the confident action flows naturally, and there will be days when it's harder, days when the old doubts and fears come roaring back. That's normal. That's human. The goal isn't to eliminate fear or doubt completely. Even the most confident people still experience these emotions. The goal is to act confidently despite them, to feel the fear and do it anyway, to acknowledge the doubt but not be controlled by it. As you continue this practice over months and years, something remarkable happens. The gap between who you're pretending to be and who you actually are begins to close. The act becomes less and less of an act, until one day you realize that you're no longer acting confident. Not the false confidence of someone who's never faced adversity, not the brittle confidence of someone who can't admit mistakes, but the earned confidence of someone who has faced their fears, stretched beyond their comfort zone, persisted through setbacks, and come out stronger on the other side. That's the confidence I wish for you. Not given, but earned. Not claimed, but demonstrated. Not temporary, but lasting. So start today, right now. Choose one small confident action, then another, let those actions compound over time. Trust the process. Remember that the feeling follows the action, not the other way around. Act as if you're already the confident person you want to become. And before long, you won't be acting anymore. You'll be that person.